Good morning. I'm W.L. Curry and my family, we've lived here for about 20 years. We always do a little something special. We grow a little bit of sugar cane. We don't make any money at it. It's just something we do for fun. What we want to do here this morning, some of the process we go through in doing the cane there. This is called a cane stripper here. And what it does is you can see how it's made there with the hook and everything, and the cane will go up through that. We push it in like that, and it just strips the fodder off of it. You just start at the top and come down. But I'll promise you, it's a lot cheaper to go to the store and just buy you a bottle of syrup for all you have to go through, but you don't have the fun with it. So I'll come over here. I'll demonstrate the process of stripping it. You just put it up here at the top like this and put that stalk in there and just come down like that. So you see what a pretty stalk of cane it leaves there. And there's always 2 or 3 people down here helping do this. And we laugh and joke and say a lot of things and sort of sometimes might even seem to get off the deep end. That I think anybody watch the video want to tell you something about this. See, I pastor a church. This is my 42nd year pastoring a church. And I tell you, this pastor, he took this new church and he went down and one day and he seen a little house down the road he'd never seen before. He decided he'd go down there and see who lived down there. He got down there and the little girl playing in the backyard. He went around, asked her if his mom was home, and she said no. He said, well, where's your mama? And she said, in the county jail. Well, the preacher asked her, said, well, can I see your daddy? Can you talk to your daddy? He said, she said no. Said, well, where's he at? She said, he's in the back room drunk. I said, my goodness gracious. Said, you got a brother? I said, yeah, I got a brother. I said, well, where's he at? He said, Harvard University. I said, you mean to tell me your mom's in the county jail and your sister's off down there in the mental institute and your daddy's in the back room drunk and all that kind of stuff, and you got a brother in Harvard University? He said, yes, sir, that's right. He said, well, what is he studying? He said, he ain't studying nothing. Said, they studying him. That's the kind of thing you hear around the syrup kettle. We get the top out of it, and it cuts very easy. It's not hard to cut. It just that easy. And like that. Just pull it over like this. And like this. Like that. So that gives you a good clean stalk of cane there. But that's the process right there that we do. Okay, since we got this done and showed you how we do that, we'll go back around and to the mill, and we'll go around and be getting that ready and squeeze some juice and fire up the kettle and get everything going. It'll take about 4.5 or 5 hours once we put it in the kettle. So we've got sort of a long day, but not a strenuous day. It's a day we'll have a lot of fun. So if y'all will just meet me around there, and we'll talk to you there. I'm gonna crank it up, and we're gonna clean the rollers on the mill there. We take the end of a stalk of cane and we put it on the roller, and that'll break any rust loose on there, and then we wash it off. Be sure we try to get all that off before we grind the cane. Every year before we put juice in the kettle to cook and make the syrup, we have to make sure the kettle is clean. I turn the water on like that, which is no big deal. Any youngin' can do it. It's just something you want to do. It's no more than what you would do in the kitchen. You want your utensils and pots and pans clean in the kitchen. You want it clean out here too. I'm gonna dip this out of the kettle here. You can see that water's just a little dingy there where I washed and cleaned up. There's a little bit left in the bottom of the kettle, and I don't want it in there. So this is about the only way I know to get it out, is just like this, like that. It'll come out because the bottom of the kettle is round, see, and it'll just come right on out. Okay, now we're going to take the top off of this. We're going to take the strainer off of this barrel. We'll take this over here. What we're going to do, I'm going to put some of these cane pumpkins on the ground. We're going to set the tub down there, and we'll put them down so we won't get any dirt on the tub, because we don't want any dirt in that kettle. That's the way the old timers done it. This is just a simple operation. You have to be careful because that kettle is bottom is round just like a ball. And if you pour it in too hard, some of it come out the other side. So we don't want that. We'll get some more. Okay, we got it lit, we got the fire under it. And you have to be careful how you light that thing. I come down here one day in a hurry and gonna light it. That thing blowed my hat way off out yonder, and I looked in the mirror and I didn't have much hair left. But what we do now, we'll heat it up and it'll just get warmer and warmer. And all the fiber that is crushed up out there in that meal, it'll come to the top. People calls it skimming. I guess because you skim it off the top, I reckon. And that'll be the process right on till it makes syrup. From here on, it'll take about 4.5, 5 hours, just according to how fast you push it. We just want all of you to have a good time today. That's what this is all about. Glad to have Robbie and Edith. Come on over here, Robbie. This is my son. This is my only living son that I have. Have some grandchildren, and but Robbie don't have any children, so he's my son and my grandchild. So yeah. he gets the blessings from both ends. but we always have a good time when they come home, and that's what this is all about. Yeah. Now we're going to what you call skimming it, and this is fiber. That is busted up in that stalk when it runs through the meal. The way we separate it and skim it like this. See, that's skimmings right there. That's nothing but trash and fiber. Of course, you have to do something with it, so we put it in the drain. Okay, Jimmy, he's washing around the edge of the kettle there and sort of keeping it clean and keeping it from getting so sticky and things like that. And this is a continual thing that I'm doing here. It's still skimming. It's getting the track, that comes to the top. And you just have to keep right on doing this, right on till you get through with it. There was this guy, these two little boys that were going down the road. They met this woman. She had a bucket with a cloth over the top of it, and before they got to her, they was talking about that bucket that woman had. And when they got down to where the woman was, they asked the lady, said, "Ma'am, what you got in that bucket?" Well, she had honey in the bucket. He said, "Ma'am, what you got in that bucket?" The lady said, what your mama calls your daddy. They walked on down the road a piece, and one little boy said, "I don't believe she had a mule back end in that bucket." Well, this right here, we done it cooked. You can tell how much water we've cooked out of it down to there. And before you can go and get it up on the rim, you can't get it up there until you cook so much of the water out of it. We've been cooking here for a few hours now, and we done skimmed it and all of that, and we done got it up, and when you get so much water out of it, it'll come up on the rim. You notice that it's boiling out this way, coming out to the rim. Just before we get ready to take it up, it'll be going back to the center, and it'll fall down in the kettle. All right, when we get to this part of it, you have to really keep this checked real close, because you don't want to overdo it. If you overdo it, you got syrup. It's so thick you can't even get it out of the jar. But this is the way we check it, like this. Get a little in the pan, let it cool off, and you can see it flaking right there. The thicker it gets, the more it flakes. When you're cooking with this gas, you have to be real careful, because that gas is so hot, but then it gets that kettle hot, and then you can't get it cooled off. And then if you're not careful, you got it too hot, and you're in trouble. So what you have to do is you have to back off a little at the time. Just keep backing off on the heat. And because when you get time to take it up, you have to cut everything off right then and get that syrup out of that kettle right then. Look how gold the plate is. Now it looks like it's pretty thick right there, but you really can't tell until you get it on a plate or something where it's cool. My granddaddy showed me how to do this. I think that's it right there. I think that's about what you would want. Take a piece of metal. When you're filling your jars up, those jars are tempered. And set a piece of metal down and set your jar on the metal. And it won't bust the jar. The date of today is November the 4th, 2016. This year's the last year we're going to do it this way, because I just don't have time. I need to be out there winning souls for the Lord, and I haven't got no more time for this. So I can't move around, get it done fast enough like I used to. So I have to put the most important thing first. We don't have any time to lose. If you study the Bible, you know that prophecy's being fulfilled. You see it every day. And for those that don't see it, it's because they just turn away from it, don't want to see it. But the Lord's made it to where we'll know it and see it, and that's what I need to be doing. I haven't got time to do this anymore. It takes too much of my time. And may God bless all of you. I love all of you. One of the gifts the Lord gave me was to love people. And I love people. I reckon that's one of the reasons we've done this for so many years. But it's been good. Thank all of you for your participation, your prayers, your love, and you've honored Wanda and myself by coming. So may God bless you, and thank you. And don't forget, the Lord's coming soon. Be prepared and be ready. You won't have a second chance.
W.L., he's my brother that sort of keeps the family together since our parents aren't here any longer, and my oldest brother's not living. So he is sort of the one that keeps us all together, and has the, he's always enjoyed doing the cane grinding.
When I was a little kid, W.L. was 11 years older than I was.
and I was a little bitty when I was the run of the family. And every Saturday morning, all the boys would go to the swamp and go hunting. None of them didn't want me to tag along, but WL always let me tag along with him. And he'd get to the swamp back there, and he'd find an old big oak tree somewhere and set me down under it and tell me to sit there until he come back and got me. So I'd sit under that tree with my old 20 gauge and shoot squirrels till he come back and got me. He always let me tag along with him.
And WL also has a cane grinded and a syrup making event. My wife and one of my daughters was down at the event last year, and I'm down now with one of my daughters and my wife. And I believe WL's been making this syrup for quite a while. I've always considered the Currys are nice people, and of course WL being a minister, very special.
Well, here we are on November 5, 2016, and this is going to be what is supposed to be Dad's final syrup cooking. We will see. He loves it so much, he loves it as much as he loves preaching, I think. What can I say about Dad? I don't know, other than being a great father, I really don't know a whole lot else to say. I know that he gives his life to take care of other people. He's very dedicated to God, preaching his ministry. That always seems to come first. And that started when he was a young man as well. And with Dad, all I can say, Daddy, is thank you so much. Everybody can look around and we can see everything that you've done here. And we know that you love everybody that you come in contact with. And thank you so much for being a great father. And also, I'd like for anybody else who's watching this other than Dad, I'd like for you to know that I'm so appreciative of Dad because he seems to have probably saved me from my youth somehow, because there's always temptations in the world. There's things that a person can see so easily go wrong with. And Dad he was always very strong. He was like an oak tree, but it was in a very good way. Dad saved me because he always had his Bible in one hand and he had the rod in the other, and he didn't spare either one, and he always seemed to know when to use either at the appropriate time. So Dad, I love you very much, and so do so many other people. And I'll promise you this, I think maybe the reason God hadn't come back yet, well, he's still building heaven for all of us, and maybe he just doesn't think your section's big enough yet. So thank you, Dad.